main agricultural exhibition of Russia, Agrosalon 2022, was held in Moscow. Previously, all the world's major manufacturers of agricultural machinery and equipment, and in the first place, agricultural tractors, were represented at it. Now, in connection with the sanctions imposed against Russia, European, American and Japanese agricultural equipment is no longer supplied to Russia. Who took her place? To what extent, under the sanctions, are Russian and Belarusian manufacturers able to saturate the domestic market with modern agricultural tractors? Let's see what answer the Russian exhibition Agrosalon 2022, which took place in early October, gives to these questions. It is hard not to pay attention to the fact that Eastern suppliers rushed to the place of the departed Europeans and Americans, that is, to the place of Western suppliers. Turks, Indians and, of course, the Chinese. For example, Solus tractors, which we already have a whole line of machines with a capacity of 18 to 120 horsepower. They are produced by the Indian company Sonalika. Moreover, according to the employees of this company, the Solus tractors are of Japanese origin. Here are the Chinese Ensign tractors, which are offered in Russia with engines ranging from 200 to 240 horsepower and with a very modern transmission. Here are some more Chinese agricultural tractors manufactured under the Taval brand. Several of their models, mainly of the light class, are offered in Russia. And here is a tractor under the Chinese brand Zumlian, which in Russia has long been well known as a brand of a Chinese manufacturer of construction equipment. And, as it turned out now, not only construction. And here is the stand of the Russian tractor Plantalon. He produces such small agricultural tractors in Udmurtia. But these tractors are still actually Chinese, since they are completely made from components imported from China. So the eastern expansion into the Russian market of agricultural tractors is actively growing. And what about Russian and Belarusian manufacturers? What can they oppose to the powerful tractor stream coming from the east? One of the main problems why it is so difficult for Russian factories to resist pressure from the east is the transition to the use of Russian components that is going on with great difficulty. Over the past 20 years, Russian tractor factories have begun to use foreign parts and assembly so widely that now, when their supplies have stopped or become more complicated, when manufacturers from the remaining friendly countries have increased prices for their components, Russian factories are faced with a serious problem in completing the produced tractors. For example, DLH 3507, which is called the first telescopic loader developed and produced in Russia. It is produced in the city of Tver, and the engine is made in the city of Yaroslavl. But the transmission and axles are supplied by the Turkish company Carraro. Their own analogs are not produced in Russia. But the Turks continue to work with Russia and Russian agricultural machinery with their components. And here is the novelty of the Bryansk tractor plant, which started with the production of Ukrainian KHTZ tractors, and now it is gradually bringing its own models of tractors to the market. This tractor with an operating weight of 10 tons was designated BTZ 4000. It will go into production from the beginning of next year. The transmission for it, that is, the gearbox, transfer case and drive axles, is supplied by a plant in St. Petersburg. But he is only a developer of the transmission. Its units are made in China and then delivered to the Russian customer. It is impossible not to replace that. In the engine compartment of the BTZ 4000 tractor they put an outdated Yaroslavl diesel engine with a capacity of 230 horsepower with a V-shaped arrangement of cylinders. Why? It turns out that at first it was supposed to equip the tractor with a more modern and more powerful inline diesel engine, but it turned out to have European-made fuel equipment, the supply of which to Russia was stopped. Therefore, in order not to waste time, they decided to show the new tractor with an old engine, all components of which are produced in Russia. A modern Russian diesel engine is under the hood of another new Russian agricultural tractor Kirovets K5 with an operating weight of 10.5 tons. It has already been shown at other exhibitions, but this year it was brought to the Agrosalon in a deluxe configuration with rich basic equipment. And next to it in the exposition was another tractor of the same company from St. Petersburg, but of a heavier class. Its operating weight was more than 15 tons. It is called Kirovets K7M. The letter M in the name indicates the modernization of the tractor. He received an improved engine, an improved control system, a new hydraulic system and a remote parameter control system. These tractors are produced by the Russian company Agrosalon. Their production in Russia was transferred from Canada. The flagship model carries the index 3535. Until recently, this tractor was equipped with an American Cummins diesel engine with a capacity of 580 horsepower. Now Cummins does not supply engines to Russia. But, on the other hand, this is done by China, whose engine will now take place in the engine compartment of this tractor. In the engine compartment of another Agrosalon tractor, which received the designation 2375, Cummins diesel was also used, and this tractor will continue to be produced with an engine supplied from China. But he has his own automatic transmission. It was purchased in Japan and launched production in Russia. Over the past few years, Russian manufacturers of agricultural machinery have successfully found a new market niche for themselves. Many of them organized the production of machines for applying fertilizer to the fields. Apparently, because all-terrain vehicles have always turned out well in Russian factories, and fertilizer machines are essentially all-terrain vehicles. After all, the need to bring in during the thaw period, when the fields become impassable for any equipment, requires very high cross-country ability from such machines. It is achieved due to the high ground clearance, wide tires and relatively low weight when using multiple wheels, which reduces the pressure on the ground. And now let's see what factories from Belarus showed at the Agrosalon 2022 exhibition. I will start with an experimental model of the MIS 450 heavy agricultural tractor, which was developed by Agrosalon. This company is known primarily for the production of cleaning equipment. This tractor has a very high localization of the main components and assemblies. In addition to the frame, body and cab, Agrosalon independently developed and is preparing to produce an automatic transmission, transfer case and axles for this tractor. The largest manufacturer of agricultural tractors in Russia and Belarus, the Belarusian tractor plant, brought to the exhibition in Moscow more than 10 different tractors, among which we know two promising models. Firstly, the tractor Belarus 2022 weighing 7 tons with a diesel engine D260 of the Minsk motor plant with a capacity of 212 horsepower. This is a very promising model with a good future in the Russian market. Secondly, the Belarus 3522 tractor. With this model, the Minsk tractor plant is moving slowly, but surely, into an unusual class of heavy agricultural tractors. This model, weighing more than 12 tons, is equipped with a Cummins or Caterpillar diesel engine, both with a capacity of over 360 horsepower. In the future, it is planned to select a diesel engine of Russian or Belarusian production for it. But that's not all. The most unexpected tractor of the Minsk plant shown at the exhibition was a robot tractor that does not even have a cab. It is called Belarus A 3523i and is equipped with a Cummins diesel engine with a working volume of 8.9 liters, developing 359 horsepower. With an overall length of 6.8 meters, the operating weight of this robotic tractor is 13.5 tons. The carrying capacity of the front attachment is 5 tons, the rear, 10 tons. And this is not the only robot tractor in the model line of the Minsk tractor plant. There is also Belarus 112 and 01. It is less heavy and less powerful, but, on the other hand, it has already been tested and is being prepared for serial production, which should begin as early as 2023.